I'm Pashka.
I'm Nay.
I'm SHANICE.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notification bell on so you know when we've uploaded.
Hope you guys enjoyed sipping.
Join us every week after you've put the kids to sleep and it's our time to relax and enjoy.
Grab a bottle, grab a seat, and let's sit. You guys need to get involved with us by commenting in the comment section below. We've got an Instagram, a Twitter, all goes by Mummy's Wind Down. We love you guys. Bye.
Cheers to motherhood.
Cheers to motherhood.
Cheers to motherhood.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Wind Down. Hope everyone's had a good week, even though there's a whole storm out there. Eunice, Franklin, the whole shebang. And yeah, I haven't had much going on this week. It was my mum's birthday on Friday.
Oh, really? Happy belated birthday.
We just did a little family thing on Friday. And that was it. Couldn't go Blackpool for Cash's birthday because there was a whole storm out there. And yeah, Pash, how's your week been?
It's been pretty much chilled. Kasha's birthday was supposed to happen on Saturday. We couldn't do it because of the storm. I was really, really upset because obviously that's something I planned for my son's birthday. My son is 2 tomorrow on the 21st of February. And I've just literally the whole week I've just been thinking about my son turning 2, and I've just been reflecting on how quick it goes, and it's not needed to go that quick. We don't need it to go that quick. We need it to go a lot slower because there's no reason for my son to be turning 2 tomorrow when I literally gave birth to him yesterday. I gave birth to him yesterday. So yeah, that's about it. I'm reflecting this week.
Oh, bless you. Shanice, how's your week? Yes.
Well, my week's actually been good. On Sunday, I had friends over because we celebrated Valentine's Day on Monday, which was really, really good.
Oh yeah,
we seen.
Huh? So my friend from Bristol came as well with her 2 little kids, and they end up staying for the whole week, which was good because obviously you guys know I'm here constantly alone. If my partner's at work, I'm home alone. And so I had company and Adonis had company, which he loved. But do any of you think when your kids are around other kids, they just create more and extra trouble? Because boy, my child was doing the most, honestly. I've never seen him do some of the things that he was doing, but he loved it, and I could tell that he did. And I loved enjoying having my friend over with the kids. They're great kids. We've known each other since we were both pregnant at the same time, so it was good. But yeah, so I had a good week. So I thought, okay, right, let's jump into it then. I think we're going to start with the discussion of breastfeeding.
Oh, really?
Yes. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions. First of all, let me start off by saying this space here is created for mums. It's a space where we can all come, have a talk, just listen to each other's experiences and what we all go through individually. It's not somewhere where we come to criticize or to look down on others. It's a safe space, right? Anyways, breastfeeding. I have been breastfeeding Adonis since the day he was born. It's something that I've always wanted to do. It's something that I've experienced ups and downs with. I've enjoyed it, but at the start of it, it was very difficult for me. I know a lot of you mum experience your baby's not latching on, the milk not coming through. Like those first 2 weeks for me was very, very difficult and very painful. But moving along, he's 2 now and he's still breastfeeding. I don't want to be breastfeeding anymore, but it's something that he enjoys. Now, getting into it. I know y'all.
Can I ask a question?
Go on.
There's so many things about breastfeeding that I don't know because I didn't even have the option because of health issues. The option wasn't there. And when my was breastfeeding, she was like, there's like a seal that you gotta go through before the real milk. Like I want you to explain all of that for people that don't have kids or people that do that don't know.
For when your milk takes forever to come through.
Yeah,
I didn't even know because when I started breastfeeding, I thought I was feeding, but literally, your baby weight starts to drop and nothing was coming through. He was just latching on and sucking. And so when it starts sucking so much, your nipples, like, it goes all funny and it gets
Mhm.
painful. But then afterwards, if you keep giving it to him, it's persistence. If you keep letting him suck and suck and suck and suck and suck, even though if it's painful, your milk then starts to come through. And at the start, it won't be a lot of milk. It's going to be just a little bit. But that little bit at that age, they still fill up from it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so at one point as well, I think the nurse was saying to me, if I keep the baby close to me, that helps with my breast milk
Okay,
flow.
the skin.
Yeah, I think you were telling me that they were saying the same thing to you. Um, but yeah, so another thing I want to get into, I know y'all see me drinking. Yes, yes, yes. I like to have a glass of wine. I like to have a drink sometimes. But that does not mean I'm harming my child. I know they say everything you eat, everything you consume goes into your breast milk. But it's for me, it's my choice. It's my child. I'm not harming him. I would never ever do anything to hurt my child. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't put him through something like that. So if I'm drinking, you guys know me as well. I don't drink to get drunk. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not wild on that side anymore. I have a glass a night, probably. Sometimes on the weekend I have two gin and tonics. But don't forget, Adonis is 2 years old now. This is not, he doesn't solely depend on breast milk. He'll have it for his comfort. He'll have it if he just wants to even put it in his mouth. But he's on solids. He eats breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. He goes to nursery. Most of the time, it's just basically what for freaking comfort, and that's just it.
So he
Um,
treats it as his dummy, basically, like a dummy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a replacement for him. So anybody that's got a bit of question to why I'm drinking whilst I'm breastfeeding, you can see how big and chunky my child is. He's like a little freaking, he's hench. Okay, he's good. Don't be worried. I would never harm my child, but it's each to their own. You could. It's like basically saying some people don't smoke or don't eat fatty food, or do you know what I mean? One
Yeah.
glass of wine for you parents. I know some of you mothers that are breastfeeding and think, oh fuck me, I'd love to have a glass of wine. I'm not going to tell you to do it, but for me, I've done it. My child's okay. We're both okay. So it's not the end of the world, and don't feel like you're a bad mum because you are doing it. Do you know
And
what I mean?
the health visitor, like I don't know if it's the health visitor, but they definitely say you can have one glass of wine when you're
I
breastfeeding.
remember they saying that.
It's a thing. Like the breastfeeding a baby, you can have one glass of wine, and when they say that you can't eat certain type of cheeses and everything like that. Obviously when your baby's young, you can't do that type of thing. You
Mhm.
can't eat certain type of cheese and things like that. But as your baby gets older and they're hardly drinking milk and they hardly depend on milk and they
Mhm.
use it for comfort, you,
Yeah.
that's when you have your freedom. That's when you're not like constricted to what you can eat, what you consume and things. Because I wanted to breastfeed my second baby, and I was trying to breastfeed, and my mom was like, at least just give him the, when they say that that's the golden juice type of thing, what comes from your boob at the very beginning, like the colostrum.
Yeah.
I'd definitely give him that. But then when we got home, I was trying to breastfeed my hardest, but I bought formula just in case,
Mhm.
because I wasn't really all for all breastfeeding my first baby, but I thought might be my last baby. I just wanted to try and experience what
Yeah.
breastfeeding is like. So I breastfed my youngest baby, but he wasn't latching on. And obviously the health is as tell you to just continue and continue. And in your head,
Mhm.
breastfeeding is going to be a click of a finger. So
Yeah.
you okay, I'm going to keep trying. And obviously days and weeks went by and it just wasn't filling him up. So I had to keep giving him formula after it. And then after all, we found out that he was tongue tied, so he couldn't actually latch on. It
Yeah.
doesn't come past his lips. So he couldn't actually um latch on, yeah. So that's something I really did want to experience, but I wasn't able to breastfeeding. I did breastfeed a little bit because he could get a little bit out, but it was never a full feed or anything like that. He was never satisfied once fed. And it's not a nice feeling to feel like, even though it was my second baby, it wasn't a nice feeling to feel like I was trying to feed him and he wasn't getting anything from me. Even though I would squeeze my nipple and no milk would come out, literally milk would shoot out at that point. But he just wasn't getting anything, and I was so confused as to why. And obviously we found out later. So,
Nate, did you ever consider at any point?
I couldn't, like, it wasn't even an option, which is why, like, I'm always I'm a proper advocate for breastfeeding. That's why whenever you're like, oh, he's 2, I'm like, sis, breastfeed so you don't want to breastfeed no more. Stop watching what people say, because I would have loved to have had the option. Like, it wasn't even like, it wasn't on the tables at all. So it's sad. And I know how PASHKA feels about, like, feeling like, oh, I want to be able to give my child this, but I knew I had health issues before I had him, so I knew what I can and can't do. So
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like when people ask me can you drink and breastfeed? Like again, it's everyone's choice. It's you're choosing to do it if you want to. I'm not saying it's definitely go have a bottle of vodka. You can get like, I'm not saying that. But being a parent, sometimes things get overwhelming. And best believe for me, I like to have a glass of wine, you know, but does that make me a bad parent? Does
absolutely
that
not.
make me a bad mother? Is my child unhealthy? Is he not well? Like, do you know what I mean? All of those comes into question. I think people need to understand that.
Loosen up on motherhood. Just loosen up about it, because people are
Go
so about being a parent and being a mother, and you can't do this and you can't do that. Like me, we all enjoy a drink. We all enjoy going out still. We all enjoy linking up. Like, it doesn't always have to be, you have to be a completely different person now because you're a mother. Children do 100% change you as a person, but it doesn't enjoy you enjoy any less. You enjoy to not go out anymore or anything like that. And I just don't like that stereotype that people put against mothers and parents, even dads. It happens to dads. I don't like it, and I'm not there for it. Yeah, it does.
Because I feel like a father can be out every single weekend till their child turns 18 and no one bats an eyelid, but mom does it. Even I'm guilty of looking at some mums and like, damn, you're out again? Like,
but that's when they're out every single weekend though. But with dads, I feel like with dads, not necessarily going out too much, but when it comes to when you're stereotyping someone with in regards to being a dad, my children's dad is hands-on completely. So whenever he does go out, he's out for the first time and forever. Basically, he's not a going out type of person, but people stereotype him as to being not a hands-on dad because he's out, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I get it.
You like, people stereotype dads regardless as not being hands-on. So
yeah,
he is a hands-on dad, and not necessarily going out, just being a hands-on dad. They get stereotyped because people think dads are not hands-on, and I can't vouch for that, because my children's dad is a hands-on dad, if that makes sense to you.
I get it. I totally get it. And you're lucky to even have that, because a lot of people don't, you know. But
when
yeah.
it comes to the dads thing, I genuinely feel like I know more dads that are in their kids' lives than dads that aren't.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. This day and age, I think the men are really taking responsibility for their kids.
And so they should. And so they should. Yeah. But and then another thing that I wanted to talk about breastfeeding is as well with doing it in public.
Yeah.
Don't really, before when Donis was younger, I wouldn't mind, like me and my friend will be in Nando's, we'll still breastfeed because we both breastfeed. But now that he's a little bit older, I just feel like everybody's watching me and just thinking, oh my God, do you know what I mean? So now everywhere I go, I carry this like breastfeeding cover thing and I cover it over me. And not only that, I just think even my partner, I think sometimes it's like, oh my God, babe, your boobs out. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, that it doesn't feel nice. You know, I want to be able to breastfeed in public comfortably. And what my friend said, because she had a baby before, she was like, do you judge people when they're feeding their kids? You have
No.
to feed your child, so they shouldn't judge you. And that kind of resonated with me a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to mention that.
Do you think we'll ever live in a world where women can breastfeed in public, like happily, like without thinking this?
The world's getting, as we speak, it's getting way worse.
2022, and like you should be able to. Any man that sees a woman feeding her child and looks at her tit and gets aroused or anything like that, you need to check
It's a
yourself.
dirty pervert.
Yeah, literally, you're.
Also, you need to understand, most men have wives and have kids and things like that, so they know what goes on at home, type of thing. That I feel like, guys, I'm bringing it back to the play area situation with me. Everyone was staring at me because I had a naughty toddler, but like, you have all had that at the same time, so I understand why you're feeling that type of presence from every single person.
Yeah.
But when you're out, Shanice, you might feel like, okay, these people have all had children and I'm breastfeeding my kid, but then the way that it's the vibe that you feel, the way that they look at
like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel
Yeah.
like, you know, I feel it's just the worst feeling ever, but it's something else for another day.
I'd get my tit out and like shake.
But guys, don't be too worried. Breastfeeding and I like to have a drink does not make me a bad parent. Like I said before, my child's healthy. He's, for God's sake, Donnie started walking just before he turned fucking 7 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, so my kid's good. Have a drink, relax, enjoy it, ride with it, and move on.
Yeah, definitely.
Donna's having a better life than all you bitches.
Right, let's move on.
Just saying.
Right, what were you saying now, name?
What's the second topic? Right, guys. So for our second topic, we're going to be talking about raising boys, more so raising Black boys, because that in itself is very difficult. Are you not happy for me to start?
Yeah.
Because, guys, I don't know if you've noticed in the way I talk or anything, but I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood, and where I grew up, I'm used to people like getting stabbed, getting shot, and shit like that. And I always knew, even though I always wanted sons, I knew that I did not want that for them. Like 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago. 2 years ago, I lost one of my little cousins, 21, and stuff like that. So I know there's so many things that worry me aside from racism when it comes to raising Black boys. This day and age, and I just feel like there's kids in private schools now that want to be involved in that life. Like there's some kids in Manchester, I think maybe like 2-3 years ago, private school kids stabbing each other, and the boy that they stabbed wasn't like, his parents worked so hard, they didn't come from well-off family, they worked so hard to put him in that private school, and he still got stabbed up by a white boy. And I just feel like sometimes there's no escaping it, but it's a very big stress. Like, I don't know where I want to live. I don't know if I want to live in a white area where he won't get exposed to that, but then there's racism, or if I want to stay like close to where I am, but close to where I am is also close to where I grew up. So I know it's not a big difference. Like, I just don't know. I can go in Cheshire, but the kids that got stabbed went to a school in Altrincham. Like, there's just no winning. So how do you lot feel?
For me, I kind of, so I'm from Newcastle, where it's white area. It's a town outside of Newcastle where it's completely white. It's a white area, and I grew up my whole entire life with racism, and it's not something I would ever want my kids to experience. Hence why I haven't moved back home. I considered it at a time, but I was thinking, why would I ever want my kids to grow up the same way I did, literally getting called all the names under the sun? It just doesn't make sense to me. But then I'm in an area, so I was in Manchester at this point when I had my first son. I'm in an area where if I bring my son up, there's gangs, there's fights, there's guns, there's things I've never experienced or ever grown up against, because I was brought up in a town outside of Newcastle, so it's not something I've ever had to experience. But to avoid racism, and to avoid guns, and to avoid knife crime, and to avoid all of that, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do with sons that are black? What are you supposed to do? And not necessarily just being black, just, I generally think it's just in general. It's just like it's a very, very, very scary world. But now I'm in a town outside of Manchester. And I mean, I'm not a child, so I would never know what the streets are like, kind of thing, or what's going on inside of all these young heads. But right now, I feel a bit more comfortable that I'm outside of a city, if that makes sense, because there's black people and there's white people that I live around. So we're all like together, if that makes sense. We're all living amongst each other. So I feel a bit more positive about that. But Nate, if I was living in Charlton, or where I used to live, Moss Side, I wouldn't even let my kids play outside. I generally wouldn't, because I'd rather them suffer from playing outside than suffer from anything worse, basically.
I totally get you, Pashka, with your kids. You don't want racism for your kids. Donis, I worry. A lot of you think because I'm in this kind of neighborhood, nothing will happen. But what if he does get older and he moves out? Because we can't only think of our kids being babies and little. We have to think about them for the rest of their lives, you know? What if he goes to college and then he ends up with the wrong people? For me, I haven't yet to receive any sort of racism, especially if, even though I'm in a more prominent whitish area where I am, everyone around is so freaking friendly. It's unbelievable. But then again, you don't have to be friendly to your face. But um from what I've noticed, is just they're all friendly round here. Donis goes to a nursery. It's a multicultural nursery, so I'm fine with that. However, I just think of where I used to live in Old Trafford. I don't know if you've heard of it, but where my mum lives now, the kids always play outside. And then I think it was like at the end of last year, there was somebody running, like somebody chasing some guys. I don't know if they're chasing from my side, and he run to Old Trafford and then he got stabbed, literally one street away from my mum's street. And I'm just thinking, what if the kids were outside playing at that time? Because they always play outside. Do you know what I mean? Like they always play outside. And I always think that for me, that is scary. You know, that is scary, and it just makes you think, do you want your child to grow up in that area, or do you want, but we live in a society now where I feel like nowhere is safe than you think. Do you know what I mean? Like rich people die all the time. Rich kids, they cut themselves. Them people that have problems too, you know? Do you know what I mean? They do drugs, they cut themselves. But I think with the black culture, there's a different kind of crime, but there's still crime. White people, they still do certain things. There's still crime on both sides. I don't even think it's to do with race or whatever. I just think we live in a scare where, especially with boys. Boys, uh, with girls, we'll probably get away with it. But boys, I just think we've got a long road ahead of us. It's just going to be worry after worry, constant worry. And like I said, it doesn't end. We have to think about them for the rest of our lives. You know, when they're 18, when they're grown men, going on holidays with their friends, we're going to have
Oh my
to
God,
constantly thinking about it.
I don't want to think about my son going on holiday to a different country, partying. Like, what happens if anything could happen? I don't want to think about that. I definitely don't want to think about that.
You see, when people say to me like, "Oh, why do the UK isn't bad on racism? Like, why do you care about?" Like, people say that. I'm not gonna name any names, but certain people I know, white people, they're like, the UK is not that bad. Like, you worry too much about what's going on in America and in other countries. Like, but my problem is, I have a black child, and he's not gonna be in the UK for the rest of his life. If my son goes to America, that's a problem. If he goes to somewhere in Europe, that's a problem. So either way, I have to worry because the color of his skin is always going to matter, which is why I care about racism that happens everywhere. Like, I need it all to stop. But back to the boys thing, I don't know. It's just we can't win. Like, I was talking to my brother like a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying to him, like, I hate when guys in gangs and stuff say, oh, I didn't choose that life chose me. Because I know someone who grew up in my area that is completely different. Him and my brother were friends, and they both went into two different paths. And my brother was like, yeah, it's easy for some, but like when he first moved to my side, it was like he would be walking down the street, and it's like, because of the way he looks, like he's always screwing, guys will just challenge that. So it's like, you either have to back yourself or run away, and he was just never the guy to like run away. So it's like, even if you do everything right, your kid could just be walking down the street and it's like, oh, where are you from? Like, you know, just dumb questions like that, and then there's altercation. I don't know, man. It's a hard life. I don't know how we're gonna do this.
Yeah, but what you just said, a lot of it, I think, has happened because there's normal kids and black kids walking to school, right? In college, whatever, mum send them to school, and they still get targeted. They still get targeted. So there's literally no escape from it.
There's
And
not.
with the private school thing, it's like kids now are so, they listen to grime, they listen to rap, they listen to drill, and even though the people that are rapping those songs might be their reality, whether it is or not, kids are also listening to it, even if their life is far from that, they're gonna think that that's what's cool. And then they'll take it into these private schools, which is why it doesn't matter where your kid grows up, like, as far as that's the popular music, that's what's going to be out there for little boys. They all want to be juking, and like this day and age, even the area I grew up in, the kids now, they don't even know what the beef is. Like, they don't have no issues apart from they just want to be bad.
Yeah.
I'll say my brother's age, maybe they had more things going on, but nowadays I'm telling you, these kids just bad for the sake of being.
Nothing apart from when TikToking.
As like as the advert where they've got like the kids, all the kids rapping, like dancing to grime.
It's a drill beat.
Why are they doing that? Because as they want people, the black people, to feel at home, but that's not our home. That's when you're targeting bloody 16, 17-year-olds. That's not got nothing to do with parents and things like that. That's not something I'm interested in. That's not something that can draw us in. Just because you're putting an advert out for grime, we don't give a fuck about that. We don't care about that. That's not something we care about.
No joke. I think about four, maybe even 5 years ago, I made a conscious decision to stop listening to certain music because I just realized, why do I actually want that energy in my presence? I never even tapped into the drill scene. Like, that's not my thing. If it's not female raps and if it's not conscious rap, I don't want to know. And Afrobeats, like, I just don't want that in my energy because
Some Afrobeats.
don't want to stop people from making money because it's changing black boys' lives, but I just don't like what it's doing. And there was guy stuff before music, but still, like, I don't think drill helps. I really don't.
Yeah, that's what Zizi Mills says on a regular. That's what she says to everybody that she interviews that does grime or drill. No, sorry, not grime, drill rap. She basically says, don't you think you're influencing younger people and younger boys to be doing this type of stuff because you're glamorizing that type of lifestyle? And she says that on a regular, but every single person that she interviews says that it's just words and it's just lyrics and it's just
not though.
It's not though, because I feel like with that it sells a lifestyle to people that listen to it. It's selling it to somebody's gonna be like, yeah, I want that. And even though they're not bad, they might do daft things and think they're bad. And that's only because they're buying this lifestyle.
If your favorite rapper has a big knockoff, bad, big ass, massive chain, grills, he's got the Lambos and the Rolls Royces, and he's flying out, and he's got the baddest influencer girls, and he's rapping about selling drugs and stabbing people, you're gonna look at that and like, yeah, I want the light skinned girl, I want the cars, I want the chains. So you know what? I'm gonna go start selling some shit, and then you're into a life. Like, we're not gonna pretend that music doesn't influence you, bro. I brought Louboutins when Cardi B came out with Bodak Yellow.
You know what?
Can I walk into?
Literally,
I can't even walk in them. I'm selling them.
I can't even walk in.
You know what? Yeah,
I'm not walking them.
Having this conversation with Frisk, he was basically saying we are follow fashion, like we are trends. So if we hear Cardi B saying broke boys don't deserve no fucking pussy, and
I know that's right.
exactly. Literally, you say, you know, that's right. We finished up all here. We don't need to finish it off. And like just anything what these female rappers are saying, he's saying we're influenced by it. And I generally feel like at the beginning I was like, nah, there's not one thing I'm thinking about what Cardi B does, but it's just it happens. You're influenced by every single type of music you're listening to because you're interested in that person. You want to hear what they've got to say.
Do you remember Blackberry Hype?
No, I never forget Blackberry.
We used to go to under 18s. When that song came on, everyone had their Blackberries in the
Blackberry Hype.
Imagine not having a Blackberry then.
Yeah.
Like, no, is that
right, my mom.
Yeah, I know I'm about to go to Swagger or Wild Out or something. I need to take my Blackberry. So when Blackberry Hype comes on, I've got it in the air. Like, I'm telling you, I am selling my lubes because I can't walk in them, and I only bought them because Cardi B. I wanted to be in the club, like, say a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that's why I got them. That's the only reason why I got them. So we're not gonna pretend that music doesn't influence people, and all the rappers that say it doesn't is because they're making money from it. That's literally the only reason. They know they're making money from it, but music is influence.
Like me, remember when me and you used to listen to Tion Wayne? And sorry, Chin. All three of us used to all listen to Tion Wayne, and it was more a more chilled vibe, and it was so nice to sing to and dance. And now all he makes is that fucking that horrible shit that he makes now. And
but even
friends,
when we did used to listen to him, he used to talk about a lifestyle, and we was in that lifestyle. So
lifestyle. I'm saying
we
now,
are influenced by it.
Following fashion, he's following trends because he knows that type of music ends up on TikTok, ends up in little kids' streams, constant, and that's why he's playing that type of shit. But
definitely, I think that as well. I think a lot of them are making music that they know will fall onto TikTok because that's where it is now. Anyways, sadly, that's our mainstream kind of thing, and they feel like they can't make certain music without it going on TikTok. But we used to, like Nate said, we are influenced by the music we listen to. But for me now, there's certain music I don't listen to. Like sometimes back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of different kind of music now, but there's certain, for me, I like to protect my energy. I'm at that phase in my life. I like to just protect my energy and listen to good vibes thing. Sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I just don't want that. Do you know what I mean? But like there's other times where I just want to be like, I'm a bad girl shit. Do you know what I mean? But it's as sad as it is, it's just what we live in now, especially when it comes to the music scene. But let me just, that Afrobeats to me is the thing right now.
I'm happy black people, black men using their talents to change like their lives, their families' lives and stuff. But it's also a problem. Like it's genuinely a problem. And if that's all we've got as a culture, then that's very, very. If all we have is struggle and guns and stabbing and shit, that's a very, very sad time.
Absolutely, that's facts.
Right, guys. So for our first hot topic, I wanted to talk about like women waiting till like after 30 to have babies because it seems like it's becoming more common. Like before it was like, oh, we have a biological clock, things need to get a move on. But now it seems like, you know, maybe because, you know, we're a generation of women that we work and stuff. Everyone's not stay at home mums and that. Like women are actually like putting their careers first and stuff. So yeah, so like Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Naomi Campbell, Eve, or women that have had babies like after 33. Like that's
Mhm.
commendable, even though we're not one of those women. Like I think it's very good to see. How do you guys feel about this?
Yes. Honestly, I think it's great to see because I think there's people that want to have kids and think it's probably too late for them. So it gives them that kind of perspective of saying, "Oh, no, it's not too late. I've had a career now. Maybe I can have
Mm-hmm.
baby." But whether you've got the some people can even do it through surrogacy. You know,
Yeah.
might have the money, you might not, but there are options if you do decide to do it. And personally, I don't look down at women that have kids at that age. I think to have a child anyway is amazing, whether it's through natural or through adopting, surrogacy, any other way. I think it's an amazing thing to raise somebody, to bring somebody in, you know, in on earth or whatever. But I don't have a problem. Nicki Minaj, I'm so happy when she was pregnant because I'm such a Nicki fan. I was so happy to find out when she got pregnant because I was one of the people that thinking, girl, when is it gonna happen?
Yeah,
So
same.
like, come on. So when she did say it, I think people, especially women, we now it's just a thing where you do it when you feel like you want to. I don't think we should have a timeline on it. I don't think we should
But
have a
also,
clock on it.
I mean, we have a biological clock.
but also that's what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of pressure on women to have a baby before you hit your time where you can't have them no more, and also you don't know when that is. Some
Yeah.
people, I don't even know what the right word for it is. I don't um menopause.
Menopause.
Yeah. So when you hit your menopause, some people have literally been 30 and hit their menopause and then not being able to have kids after that. So I feel like when it comes to famous people or people who've got money, basically, so they're able to track that and then like find out when they're hitting menopause, because there's so many. If you've got money, you can basically pay for anything. What I was saying is there's a pressure for women to have a baby before they turn 30, and there's a pressure for women to have a baby before they hit menopause. And I feel like every single woman feels that type of pressure because
Mm-hmm.
you're not sure when you can't, and you can't have a baby no more. And having a baby at 50, I think that it was done by freezing her eggs and yeah,
Naomi,
sorry.
Naomi Campbell.
Yeah, so I feel like it was done by
Never,
freezing. Say that again.
she was never pregnant.
You surrogacy,
That's
Yes,
surrogacy.
surrogacy.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, so even surrogacy or freezing your eggs, you've got to freeze your eggs to get to that point. So that's like one of the
Yeah,
things people like can't afford to freeze your eggs and store it. You can't just do that. So you've got to you've got to get pregnant before you're certain before you hit menopause. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to have a baby if you can't afford it.
there was
So
a show on Channel 4, you know, that show in London, and it was like that. What was it called? You know what I'm talking about? That
no.
reality for the black people in London.
With all the what?
Eh? It's the only one we have. I can't remember the name right now, but there was a girl on there, and she's like freezing her eggs, and it was like a big deal to her parents. So I think her parents were Nigerian. So when she told her Nigerian parents that she's freezing her eggs, or Ghanaian, one of them, they were like a bit shocked. But it's like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, and I've heard that if you want to know, like, if your egg count is getting low, you can genuinely go to your doctor and say you're trying for a baby, even if you're not. All you have to say is you're trying for a baby and you know it's not working and you want to know why, and they'll like check it out for you, see, you know, how your eggs them are doing. But I'm all here for it. Like, do
I
whatever you
am.
got to do. I have a few friends that they're 26, 25, 26 now, and they're like, I don't want a baby till I'm like 27 and stuff. And it's like, yeah. The only reason why I'm happy I had a baby young is because when I'm 30, I want my life to start again.
Same. I've
If
always
it,
said I've always wanted to have my kid at a young, decent age
Yeah.
because now we've got them. We can just, you know what I mean. Once we get
Yeah,
to 30, we don't have to be worried about freaking breastfeeding stuff or night weaning or freaking
exactly.
sleep progression. 30, me and my little fam, we're gonna be living our best.
You know what I mean?
You
Like,
know what I mean?
some
I don't
people,
want to be worrying about that for some. Go
sorry,
on.
people look at us and they're like, oh, I wouldn't want to have a baby that young. Like, even though 23 to me is not that young, I wouldn't want a baby that young because I want to enjoy my life. By the time I'm 35, I'm gonna be enjoying my life because I had a baby that young, and I enjoyed my life before.
Exactly.
Go back to enjoying my life. Do you know what I mean?
Literally that. And I feel like we really enjoyed our life when we were younger. And we all got pregnant at the same time. Our kids are going to be the same age, so we're all going to get back to life at the same time. Because that video I saw, guys, it said you've got young kids for 4 years, and obviously it goes beyond that, but your main years for your kids is you've got 4 years for why they're so young. So we really need to like treasure that time. And
me, I can't. Part of me is sad, but I just can't wait. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to saying night. Donna's like night, mom, bye, and I'm like bye.
All of that. So it's like, women, don't worry. If you have your babies young, enjoy your life later on.
Yeah.
You can start your career. There's plenty of millionaires that didn't make their first millions till they were like over 35. And for the women that we're actually talking about, they've enjoyed their life. Like, what more can Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and Naomi Campbell do in their career? They're at the age where they can chill and raise families. So either way, it's good.
But question for you two, what do you think you would say to the people who want to have kids late, but they don't know when they're going to hit their menopause, or they might hit menopause and they can't afford to start?
Well, I think, okay, there's probably other options. I just don't think it's just the final, that's the end of it. It doesn't even have to be surrogacy, it doesn't have to be freezing your egg or whatever. There's other ways of having a child. Do you know, adoption, even fostering, having a child, creating somebody or bringing somebody up or whatever doesn't necessarily mean they have to come from us within. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people can be raised by their grandparents and not their biological mother. Do you know what I mean? So in that sense, you can still have that form of still being a mother or a parent without naturally having a baby, in my opinion anyways. What do you think?
Well, like I said before, like, if you live in the UK, I don't know about other places, but I've been told you can literally just tell your doctor you're trying for a baby, and they can see how your eggs are, like, and if it's a low count, then I mean, we can't. The biological clock is the biological clock. Unfortunately, we're not like men. We can't have babies till we die. So you do need to keep that in mind. But if you check out your eggs and they're all right, then yeah. Is it expensive to freeze your eggs?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
right, guys. So for the second hot topic, I want to talk about Zizi Mills, my good sis Zizi Mills. I love her, even though this is the only thing. This is the only thing that she's said. She's said it a few times, to be honest, that I don't agree with. But about Nicki Minaj saying that women don't get dressed for themselves. Nicki Minaj said women get dressed for themselves. Zizi seems to think that we get dressed up for man. I'm just gonna stop. The reason why I know for a fact that I don't get dressed up for man, first of all, my man hates my long eyelashes. He hates them. He doesn't understand why I need eyelashes this long. My ex hated my long eyelashes. He always used to say, "Oh, can you not find something natural?" I'm like, "No, because I like these eyelashes. Like, I get dressed up so that when I look at myself, I'm like, damn, bitch." Or when other women look at me and they're like, "Sis, your eyelashes are so long. I could never wear them, but they look so good on you." And I'm just like, oh, like, if I go out and I get no compliments from guys, but 10, even 2 girls compliment me, I know I look good. Which is why I don't agree. Like, men like any and everything. Like, I've never cheated on, but you know when a guy cheats on you and the thing is dead. They don't have high standards. So why would I want validation from people that don't actually care about what women look like?
I was gonna disagree, but listening to what you've just said, it makes perfect sense. I was gonna say yes, we do get dressed up for guys, because when we go out, we're like, oh, uh, guys compliment us wherever we go, no matter what. Guys get compliments from guys, but it is very rare to get a compliment from another girl that you don't know. And it's just like, yes, you look nice. Oh, yes, I like your eyelashes. And it is very rare. But guys, you know, if you go to the club, you know that guys will compliment you or have to say something or do something. No matter what you're doing, they'll have to compliment on you. So I agree. But before I didn't actually agree, because I was thinking, yes, we do get dressed up for guys.
I know.
Why else would we get dressed up? But it makes sense.
I completely disagree with what she said. What you just said, Nay, is the same thing for me. My man likes me without my wig, without all of this. It was like, babe, you don't need that. So he likes me for me. So there's no way I get dressed up for him. I guess when I say, oh, babe, I just do it for myself. I just want to look pretty. I want to feel pretty. I don't do it for nobody else but for myself. I want to take pictures and look cute and feel cute. It's not for somebody else to have something to say about it. So no, I do not do it for a guy's validation. They could listen. At the end of the day, what we need to realize that these guys will say anything. Okay, they'll say anything. They're not saying it because you're pretty. Do you know what I mean? They're saying it because they want something. So no, we do not. And women that do it, just know your worth. You don't have to do it to get freaking validation from a guy. You do not do it for you. That's why I love my Nicki Minaj. Do you know what I mean? I love her.
Yeah, we do it for us, man. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, we don't mind the attention we get, but I just feel like if I went out without makeup on, I'd still get the same attention as if I went. Like, when I went carnival bald-headed, I didn't have no wig on. Like, I still, do you know what I mean?
She walked in my house, I was like, oh, okay, that's a new look, Nay. That's
Yeah.
nothing changed. Nothing changed. And also, can I just say, same type of thing, when you're pregnant, it doesn't change either. It doesn't change.
That's the worst.
Because you're pregnant, it doesn't change. It doesn't have no impact on it. They're just thinking, I just feel like they're looking at just the girl or whatever. I don't know what they're looking at, but even being pregnant and not having any makeup, not having your hair done, it does not change the amount of guys that want to speak to you, because someone's going to think you're pretty. So it doesn't really matter. And like, you don't remember when we were outside Nay's cousin's shop and some guy was trying to speak to you and you were like, but I've not got any makeup on, I've not got my hair done. He's like, I know the potential, I can see the potential. Do you not remember that?
I mean though, but I do remember it. But that's what I mean though. They don't say it because you look good. They don't say that.
Don't give a fuck.
So maybe Zizi gets dressed up for man, and I hope honest to God, my man cannot stand these damn eyelashes. He would be happy if I had no wig on, no makeup on. Like, he's just always like, you're so beautiful without it. Like, and I'm just like, I know I am, but
that's all you want. And sometimes I feel like when even, I don't know, for people that aren't in a relationship, when you are in a relationship, that's all that matters to you anyways. If your man accepts you for you, if you accept you for you, wearing makeup and eyelashes and wigs and stuff like that, I feel like I do that for myself. Do you know what I mean? Because I know without my hair, I don't look that bad. I know without my makeup, I don't look that bad. So when I do put it on, I still know that I look okay. Do you know what I mean?
Think there is maybe like not a fine line, I wouldn't say fine line, but do you think there is like you get dressed up for yourself and then you also get dressed up for man? Do you think they come close or not?
I think sometimes I will dress up because maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to do something sexy for my man. I think that's the only time, but genuinely, if I'm going out or whatever, I don't do it for other people. I honestly do it. It's either because I want nice pictures or I just want to look nice or feel nice.
Well, I don't know about you, but obviously my previous relationship, because that was so long term, and he was always seeing this bald-headed, no makeup girl, that when I dressed up, even though he didn't care, I felt like it was nice for him to see me like caring. So when you say when you get dressed up for your man, you just want him to see you in a different way. He just sees you as mummy Shanice in the house. Like, sometimes you want to be as a bit sexy.
Exactly.
But even then, men still don't care. So you're doing it for yourself in a way, because you could wear the same lingerie and he would not care.
Yeah, to be honest, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, because men are.
I could be wearing a lingerie without wig and no makeup.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could do lingerie, no wig, no makeup, and the lingerie is all he cares about. Like, men don't care, which is why we don't do it for them, because it just makes no difference in their eyes.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe there's girls out there that look like totally disgusting without makeup on, and then when they wear makeup, they're amazing. I mean, we can't speak for everyone. That mean, am I the drama?
Am I the drama?
Like, no, maybe it's them girls, like, because you know there's certain girls like when they do transitions and guys are like, damn, she looks mad different.
Yeah.
We're the type of girls that get told we don't look that different with or without it. So maybe for them girls they do it for man, but for me, no. And even the way Zizi doesn't really, her makeup, I don't feel like she looks any different natural and with makeup on. So I don't feel like she should even fall into that category, because sis, you look good either or.
There is a thing for me though, when say if I'm in a relationship, I do like to do my hair and do my makeup just to look nice and just sit pretty. I enjoy just sitting pretty with my makeup and my hair done. And also sometimes guys do appreciate that way, but also they don't really say too much, or they don't really feel any way if you don't have your makeup and your hair done. But I know they can definitely see a difference, because they're not stupid, but I feel like they
appreciate it
both ways. They appreciate both ways. But they just see that extra bit of, okay, I see that little bit of blusher or whatever you want to call it. I see that extra bit. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like when I do put my makeup on, see, because I look like this constantly, it's no makeup. Sometimes I'm just wearing some big baggy clothes, some mummy bras, I'm always wearing these boxes and stuff. Sometimes I feel like for me, I have to remind him that hot shit is still there. You know? I'm still there. I'm still available to you. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I feel like that's the time I do it, just to remind him, baby, I'm still.
It's like every Sunday after we finish the podcast, I FaceTime my man and I'm just like, and he'll be like, damn, but I'm doing it because I'm like, you know what? You deserve to see me looking nice sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, because also I feel like it's appreciative if you show them what you look like when you're so nice, when you got your hair dressed up like that. It's just showing them like, yes, I like you, I appreciate you, I fancy you, all them type of things. It's like split again, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like when boys get haircuts, do they get haircuts for us?
Exactly.
No.
Is your there now?
Mine?
No, PASHKA.
Has he got a haircut?
Is he there now?
Yeah, he's here.
Please ask him, do they get haircuts for us?
You get haircuts for us?
Not directly, but you can say yeah.
Not directly, but you can say yeah.
We heard. But see, because my mum will get a haircut and they'll FaceTime, and I'm just thinking, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie.
You know we know they look nicer and tidier when they've got a haircut.
Yeah.
But you're thinking, yes. But when
I always tell my man how to cut his hair. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like,
tell him.
Yeah, like, because I like it cut a certain type of way, and I always say, don't shave too much of the beard. Just leave it like.
Yeah, I give my
always mention the beard.
Yeah.
He told me he wanted to get rid of the beard. I said, don't do that.
Me, this one likes to cut. He want his beard down here. This guy wants to cut off his beard and get cut. I'm like, why in the world would you want to do that? Why don't that? The most attractive thing for you.
For myself. Like, if I want to cut my beard, it's because I want to feel cleaner. I want to feel that clean, so that's for myself, not for nobody.
The men look at it. They
don't want like we do it for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't. Do you think they do it for other guys though? Because I generally will look good for other girls.
Yeah, I would. Like you see when me, you, and Shanice go out and we look peng. Remember when we all wanted to get boots, so we were looking more prestige and more nice, and we were walking in boots instead of trainers and things like that. Like, that was because we wanted to look more prestige. So when you approach us, like, you know what it is, type of thing.
Yeah.
I know that that's what other people do. Other guys do it to say, yeah, my hair's nice.
Yeah,
This is
bro,
nice.
you look good, fresh trim. So
And-
I think people, we do it for our pairs. You know,
Yeah.
guys do it like, oh, is that your beard's growing? You know, we do it for each other. We do it for ourselves. Like, oh my god, look at your contour, your eyeliner. Do you know what I mean? We do it for our pairs. We can't deny that.
That's facts. It's facts.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, man, them don't notice. They don't know highlight from contour. Like they barely know.
They don't have
So
a clue.
really and truly, we can't do it for people who don't actually care what we look like, unless you're clapped.
Unless you're clapped. Oh my god.
That's it.
But yeah, so is that all we've got to say? Is that the end of the show?
I think so. So
Yeah.
girls, don't seek validation from guys. Seek validation from girls. Don't seek
From
validation from
yourself.
look good for you, yourself, and I.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
that's all that matters at the end of the day.
And
Mhm.
also have a baby when you feel ready. Whenever you feel to have a baby, have a baby. Make sure you don't go past the menopause stage, but just have a baby whenever you want.
Yeah.
And if you drink and breastfeed, don't be ashamed of it.
Don't be ashamed.
But don't be getting pissed up drunk and trying
Yeah,
to
don't be getting pissed
Yeah.
up drunk. One glass
not-
one glass of wine a night is perfectly fine.
And out with your friends, drinking here and there, and going to
Cocktails. If you feel like you want to have cocktails, you can. Don't be ashamed or feel like you're doing something wrong. Altogether, don't do you. That's all I'm gonna say. Do you and only you.
as long as it's
that.
anyway, guys, so that's the end of the video. Hope you
Mhm.
guys have enjoyed today's episode. Last week we were all over the place. We were talking over each other.
Yes.
I know it might have been a bit hard for people to hear. We're working on it. You know what I mean? We're still learning, and maybe if we're in all one room, it'd be easier to hear if we're like talking over each other. But you know, when mums, we can't do. A lot of people do ask me like, can you not do it in the same room? Like we don't live in the same city. Like it's just a bit hard. I mean, if we start making money from this, maybe we shall,
Oink oink.
we'll treat it like a job. But right now, the full-time job is being moms, and it's just. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your aunt, tell your grandma, tell everybody.
The whole world.
Yeah. So bye.
Bye.
Thank you.